Hello, friends. Mrs. Taima here. Miss Spears and I together are going to teach Module 1, Day 25 of Wit and Wisdom. So today she's going to ask you to get your journal, your pen or pencil, and a copy of Green Eggs and Ham. You do not have a copy of Green Eggs and Ham, but don't forget there is a PDF version of the book on the first slide of your assignment. So you can always pull that up and go back to look at different pages to see what you remember if you just need to refresh your memory. All right, so I'm going to give it to her and have fun.
Hello, fabulous first graders, and welcome back to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I am excited to get back into our learning. But before we do, let's make sure you have all of your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need your copy of Green Eggs and Ham if you have one. You'll need your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal and a pencil. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials. We have been working to answer our big question or our essential question throughout this entire module. And remember, that essential question is, how do books change lives around the world? And while we've been working to answer that big question or this essential question, we've spent the last few lessons focusing on this question. How can books change my life? And we will think about this question, how can books change my life, while we discuss all of the new knowledge you've been building. But before we do that, let's think about the question that will frame our learning for today. And that question is, how can books build my knowledge? So specifically, today we'll be discussing how reading Green Eggs and Ham has built your knowledge. Look at the knowledge journal on the screen. And you may remember seeing this before. Remember, on the left-hand side is where we're going to capture all the new information you've learned. So everything you know will go on that side. And on the right-hand side is where we'll list all the things we can do as a reader or writer as a result of reading this book. Now, think, what did you learn from Green Eggs and Ham? Share with your learning partner, and if they're not there, just share aloud. Now I want to share some of the things that I've learned, and as I show you what I've learned, I want you to see if it matches what you've learned. Are you ready? Here's what I've learned. I learned that books can help me learn to read, and books can teach me messages. And I also learned that books can be fun. Are those some of the same things you learned? Now let's think. What are some of the things that I can do as a reader or a writer? Some of the skills that I've learned as a reader and a writer. Remember, think about your responses as I share mine to see if they match. Here are some things that I can do. I can use time order words in my writing. I can fill in all the elements on a story map chart. And I can determine the important message of a story. Are those some of the same things that you can do? Maybe you also learn to do some other things, and that is fantastic, because now you are going to get a chance to share what you've learned and what you can do as a reader or a writer. So pause the video to get your journal and a pencil if you need to. All right, you are going to record aloud or write at least one thing you know and one thing you can do from studying the text, Green Eggs and Ham. Are you ready? Remember, you're going to record aloud or write one thing you know or that you learned and one thing you can do from studying the text, Green Eggs and Ham. Pause the video now to get started.
All right, friends, now it is your turn to get your journal, just like Miss Spears asked you to, and to write down one thing that you know and one thing you can do. I have included some sentence frames for you to use on the next slide. Then, on the slide after that, you will insert a picture of your work so we can see your thinking.